Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's July 1st and let's do a garden update. We're out here in the extension garden this morning. We're actually harvesting some purple hull peas. These peas that's here are they were planted later than some we'll show you in the main garden, but they've actually started producing quicker. Now this soil isn't amended like that in the other garden, so that might be a factor because peas, they kind of prefer bad soil. But anyway, we'll go through here. These are our sweet potatoes, and they're doing pretty good. I mean, like they're starting to get a hold, fighting for the grass, which the grass is going to lose with them for sure. Down here we've got our glass gem corn, which seems to be doing pretty fair considering it wasn't laid by. And for those of you that don't know what laying by corn is, I have a video on that. If I think I'll attach it, but anyway, it's just doing its second fertilizing. That's normally when you do it. Down here we've got some of our winter squash, which grass is taking over. Now we've harvested most of this out of here, so it's just let the plants do as they will. If they produce any more, well, we'll harvest it, but the chances they're just going to die on off. Over there is our our field corn, our yellow dent, and it's doing poorly too, like I say, because it hadn't been laid by. And some of them are up about 8 foot, getting close, 7 foot, 8 foot, but they should be up about 12 foot or so. It really, if it's done right, it really takes off. So this here is what's left of our green beans. Just been pulling them up, lay them there in the row, let them decompose. We'll come back in and we'll till this under. Our temptress sweet corn, which sweet corn is not very tall, but this is definitely not near what it should be. It should be up about 5-6 foot, and the ears are really small. But like I say, it's because it wasn't laid by. The thing about the garden, and I say this, don't start off too big. We threw our greenhouse project in the middle, and it really took away from our gardening time. But anyway, these green beans are played out. Now they're in the grass over here. We have some acorn squash. There might be 1 or 2 left in there, but most of them have been harvested too. This right here in this grass patch is our purple sweet potatoes, and this is sending out their runners and stuff. Won't be long. They'll be telling this grass where to go. We better pull out this little sassafras tree. We don't want it getting any bigger than that. We have some red curry squash up here. We've harvested out a lot of this. There are a few left in here, but anyway, that's the way it is in the extension. Let's go to the main garden. Well, we're outside the fence on the main garden. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a few cucumbers here. We're going to talk about this too again. You can see how small this is, kind of pointed at the end where it would normally be rounded. This is a pollination problem. A lot of people like to think it's something else, but it's easy enough to tell. Once you cut these open, and you'll find that you'll have seeds forming in this part here, but you won't have any seeds at all forming in there or right on the end. And what that's from is it takes more than once, is what I've heard, as far as for these to actually get pollinated. And whenever they don't get pollinated, those extra times, whether it be it rains heavy or whatever it is, they're not going to fill out, and they're not going to make a normal cucumber, as far as like this cucumber here. So I figure I'd touch on that while I'm out here. Well, let me get these, and then we'll get inside with the rest of the tour. Okay, now we're out here in the main garden. We finally got the compost piles moved over, turned, so we'd have a empty bin here, so we start filling this up. That one is pretty full. We might let it settle a little bit and then add just a little bit more, but we've been taking up the broccoli. We got to get in here and get with this grass. We're going to have a big seed bank if we don't get this stuff out real quick. The greenhouse has been taking over a lot of our time, and just trying to get things planted. We've taken and pulled up a lot of these marigolds. I've had more worms this year, and I don't know, but it seems coincidental that I planted more marigolds this year too. And I noticed that was seemed like a breeding place for them last year. Anyway, up here in our containers, this one here, we've got a few little sweet potatoes. Also, this one here, when we cleaned out our thing, we moved a couple over out of the compost bin. We've got our ginger right here, in which we planted this in here real thick. This is most of this is going to be kind of a seed crop. We have our turmeric right here, and it's doing good. And I had transplanted a little bit of ginger, and it wasn't doing too good. Some of it's taking hold. Try to give it a little bit more room. And definitely got a bunch of grass seed. Like I say, if it's not taken out, it's going to be a problem. Up here we've got a few herbs. Some of them survived. Some didn't do so good. Their deal's doing good, coming up seed head. I don't know if we'll harvest much off it at all this year, but we'll let it go to seed and come back for next year. All right, let's see. We've got our cabbage here. Worms had got a hold of this pretty good. I'd taken and used some BT on it, and I hadn't seen any more coming back, but I had seen some on our broccoli, which would taken it out. These Brussels sprouts, most of these aren't going to do any good. Some of them are forming Brussels sprouts, and we've taken and pulled up some of the leaves. I don't know how good they're going to get, but you can see them because it's getting into the warmer weather. There's some underneath over there, so we'll just have to let it go. And we have some let's zoom in here, some cucumbers on that fence. These are medium striped Armenians, but as you can see, the sun is still real far north, so once it gets higher overhead, they'll get a little bit, but they barely get any direct sun because the tree line that's beside over there, even though this fence runs east to west, the sun is way north. So it's starting to come back now because we've passed the summer equinox, so it'll start shifting to the south, and they'll start getting sunlight. Hopefully they'll do better. In here, this is a jungle. These cucumbers are really doing good. It's getting harder and harder to find them now. As far as picking, we've got a ladder out here in case my wife wants to pick. These two plants here, these are my single seed challenges. This is the first one, and it's just now, it's about 6 foot. Now this other one that was 2.0, it's actually hit the roof, so it's about 8 foot. We've harvested a few tomatoes off of there, and they're really good. They're black beauties, but they won't get as black because they're in under this 40% shade cloth. Now we have a few seeds starting still. Let me zoom out just a little bit. We have a couple varieties of tomatoes. In here we have some Hatch green chilies. Our ones are, there's a few down there on the ground, but didn't take care of them good. And right here we have some more Burgundy Okra, so we're going to get ready and start putting out some more okra. We have a nice little spider hiding in there. I don't know exactly what kind, but I don't like spiders. So we have our eggplant. We have, everything's doing pretty good in here. In fact, it's doing really, really good. All our tomatoes, but they are a little tight. So when I get my new greenhouse and start planting it, I'll be sure not to get them quite as tight in there. We have a few cucumbers that was left over from our new batch. Now our herbs are doing great. In here, our oregano is really spreading out. This parsley is definitely, it's gone to seed. It looks like it's going to have some good seed there. We'll start cutting some of these heads that's starting to brown up so we can collect that seed. We took out our marigolds in here. They definitely was smothering out the asparagus. Now these are the roots that we bought, which they look pretty good. And these are the seeds that I planted indoors the end of last year. And they look pretty wiry whenever we put them in, which you can go back and look at video. But they look almost as good as the roots that I bought. So seed may be the way to go if I want to expand. It just takes a little longer. We have a batch of carrots here. We're trying to water these heavy. They was really too thick planted in here, and that's been creating a problem. Yesterday I come in here and cut out a bunch of the coriander to save seeds for my cilantro. I'm letting my leek go to seed here so I can collect seeds off of it, and then we'll need to get that restarted. I've got some seed for the next crop, but I'm sure those seeds are just like onions. They don't stay long. These are my beets. They still, and they must take a long time to go from beet to seed. They're still going. Hopefully they'll put up a seed top. I haven't collected seeds from beets before. Now these carrots here, these are my red carrots, there's some nice flavorful carrots. They're really better in the winter time. I'm letting them go to seed. Let's see if we can come down in here, and it might take a little bit to get one out of here, but they're really a pretty carrot. But their color, they are redder than most, but in the winter time, the cool months, they really get a lot redder than that. But this crop was planted as a seed crop, so hopefully it'll get to doing its business like it looks like it is, and they'll come in and collect seeds and plant a bigger bunch this winter. I've actually doing a video on seed saving, another one, and I'm going to least I can show you on my carrot seeds. I've got over a pound of my carrot seeds that I've saved. Over here on the fence, of course, we've got our long beans, our yard long beans, noodle beans, whatever you want to call them, and they're doing pretty good. I will save some seeds from these, so I'll have some for next year's crop. Our onions here, and our grass. This grass is just terrible. We've had to tarp so much of it because they just can't keep up with it, and it just gets worse and worse. So, but anyway, we have our pickling cucumbers here on the fence. These are some divas. We end up not watching these close, and so we end up with a lot of them that's yellowing because you miss them, and they're easy to spot once they yellow. But this is the same thing. This fence just doesn't get enough sunlight, so if we do this again on the fence, we'll do it on the south side of the garden, or either on the end of the garden, because this just doesn't work. And I can see right here where I've got another one that I missed, and I just drop it in my drive right there, so get rid of them. But yeah, they haven't been getting pollinated real even either. As you can see, so many of them have a point to them. They're not just straight, and they won't straighten up from that. They won't start filling out, or they'll get pollinated and they'll miss one side and they'll be curved. And down here we had some garlic that we didn't get out, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen here except get the weeds out and go. We're our ground cherries, these have just not been taken care of. We have a lot of little bugs, so a lot of them was bug eaten and stuff. So we're going to pull these out, and we're not going to plant these again. We've got to get in here and take care of our grass around our blueberries. I can see I got part of a limb here on this one that looks like it's dying, so I'm going to have to get in here and take care of that. And I left the little sunflowers on that came up, but I think I need to get these out of here too. But we have our red snappers, a few of them. They get heavy. They have a fairly nice tomato, but they don't get no high, and it looks like I better come in here and find me another worm that's on this plant. I know it's somewhere. I'll just have to find out wherever it is. But we've had so many tomatoes that have actually been bored in by worms this year and caterpillars. We've tried to deal with them, BT and such, but the rain's been to where it doesn't really work good. Our eggplant in here are seeming to do good. Now we've taken out a marigold right there to give more light to these. That was kind of a problem, but we have been getting eggplant. They're getting loaded up and such. We hadn't staked them yet. All our yellow squash, we've reseeded in some new ones. Blight has really got these others, and I'm saying something to do with this chemical rain that we're getting from these chemtrails is causing a problem with my squash, because a lot of it started out where it was yellow squash, but the more rain it got, it started to where it ended up where it's green squash. We've cut out a lot of them because of that. So I don't know what it is with that. We've replanted. Hopefully things will be better. Our sweet peppers are doing good. We've got a nice crop of bales. Now these are orange and red and such. Now a lot of them I don't let get to that point, because a lot of times they'll get sun scald as hot as it is still. In the fall they'll do better, but you can see how we've got some turning orange here. we're letting them go. All our hot peppers are over in this row, and they're all doing really good. Our cherry tomatoes are on the end of this row, most of them. But anyway, like I say, we've been doing good. Our strawberries, we haven't been able to stay in here and deal with the fungus, the leaf spot. So we need to get on a spraying habit, and we've got to get back in here, and we've got to get these rows taken care of, cleared out. And that's what I want to stress with you. If grass is going to bother you and you're going to be stressed over it, don't plant too big a garden, because with all this rain, normally if it's dry we wouldn't have this problem, but with all the rain, it's just compounded it. And we've got a row of tomatoes here, and our new high tunnel. We've got 2 rows that run the wrong direction in here, and then of course our zipper cream, she's been picking those and putting them up right now. We've got some more planted, and hopefully we'll have some for the market. We've got some black beauties out here. These have had more sun. You can see how black they are. Let's see if we, let's just walk on up here. They're just nice and black, but they actually ripen up, turn red good. It's more perfect in here with this 40% shade cloth. It makes it easier on them. Hopefully we'll get all this grass taken care of, and these rows started moving the other way pretty soon. But we've got to get a lot of this other cleared out, because we'd like to go ahead and get this planted. Now this is where our carrot seed was collected, and we've got quite a bit of it now. 17 ounces of carrot seed. That's a lot more than I think anyone needs. We've harvested some of our parsley and dehydrated it, put it up. More peppers in here, and some eggplants. These are hot peppers, all on this row. We have our eggplants. Looks like I need to get in here and clamp up some more vines. They're just growing like crazy. But we have our cayennes. These are purple ones. We have these are pinatas, so they're all different colors, which makes them nice. They're pretty. Over here we have our watermelon. There's a few off in there. They're kind of small. Have to keep the vines turned back into the row so they stay off the others. Have some zucchini that's down there at the end. It's still producing pretty good. Some sweet banana peppers here, and then we have some hot peppers down here. Some jalapenos. Look like they're just about getting ready to pick some. Maybe get a few for this week's market. And down here we have some habaneros. And they're starting to put on in here. We'll wait until they start getting a little color. We might pick a few green, but most of them we'll let grow up. We still haven't bothered pulling this lettuce up. As you see, it's going to seed like that was earlier over by the carrots. It needs to be cleaned out and replanted with something. It won't be lettuce. Our next lettuce we'll try to get into the high tunnel where it's got some shade cloth. The okra is doing good in here. It was starting to make and put on. And now this zucchini here, as you can see, part of these blight and stuff is taking over on it. There's our helper, Oreo. She just likes following us out here in the garden. Now, this is what I want to show you, these purple holes. Now, we were out in the other garden and the purple holes were producing really well, and they were planted actually 2 to 3 weeks after these ones. But these, the soil is richer. They scattered out, you know, laid out and really sprawl. Because of that, they're vining more, but they're the same variety. So I just want to say, like a lot of the cow peas or crowder peas, they like soil that's not real fertile, and that's what you need to consider whenever you plant them. Now here we have our next crop of green beans. We wanted to get these in earlier, but like I say, we've just been behind. These are Kentucky Wonders. The last green beans we were growing were Blue Lakes, but I really like Kentucky Wonders, and of course, we've almost got plenty enough put up, so most of these will just go to the market, but these always seem to produce better, and I really like the flavor. This here, where our early peas were, these are some new Diva cucumbers, so this will be a later crop to take care of that one that's on the fence that's not doing too well. And we have Oreo over here digging at bugs, grasshoppers or crickets or anything. That's her thing. And we come back up here. We have a row of right in here, we have a row of zipper creams, the new row. And we pulled most of our onions. We still have our white onions here. This is a white sweet onion. And I was hoping these would go to seed quicker, but they really hung in there and haven't seeded. And these were planted in real tight, but we still have a lot of them that's bulbing up big. You know, we have a lot of them that's small. In fact, some could still make table onions, but we have a lot that have actually bulbed up. So anyway, it's a good thing they aren't flowering just yet, because with the leek right here, they're both alliums, so they would be a good chance that they'd cross-pollinate. Over here we have our cucumbers on this fence. These, and as you can see, the leaves are pretty well had some problems with blight and such. Occasionally we get one that don't pollinate, but they've still been producing pretty good as far as that goes. So we'll leave them in there, but once we get the greenhouse, we'll put some cucumbers, one row of cucumbers in the greenhouse. Anyway, that's where we're sitting. I hope you enjoyed this. We've almost got the greenhouse high tunnel put together. We've got one row up door to put on the other end, and we've got to put our stakes in the corners to hold down in case we get some high winds. But once we get that, we'll be finished with that project. I hope you like this. If you want to see more, we'll just hit that subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and please share it. That helps my channel. Happy gardening.